watched a show so bad that you had to quit like 3 episodes in because you just couldn't stand it anymore? This show is one of those shows. And to be honest with you, I'm actually starting a new policy on my channel. Basically, I'm not going to watch an entire show or series if it doesn't hook me after 3 episodes. And what I mean by 3 episodes, I mean 3 episodes in like HBO type of episodes where they're like an hour long. You know, if you can't entrance me into the world and like kind of hook me into it within 3 hours plus, you're doing something wrong. You're just fucking doing something wrong. There's no way, like, there's nothing else I can say about it. It's like, I'm not going to go ahead and torture myself for another 3 or 4 hours. It's just, I'm not going to review the show. You know what I mean? You guys won't like it. I don't like doing it. I have too much shit on my plate to be going through shows that I don't want to watch. You know what I mean? And it also hurts my soul to do that. What I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to go ahead and break down the first 3 episodes that I've watched. So if I don't like a show and the first 3 episodes suck complete ass and just never hooked me and there was not a glimmer of hope in the first place, then I'm going to go ahead and do a video like this where what I'll do is I'll just break down how shitty the show is and why you shouldn't watch it. I'm trying to make you guys stay clear of this show because first thing, it kind of tricked me, and I'll explain that in a second, but other than that, there's just no point to the show. If you want good writing, it's not there. If you want good horror, it's not there. And if you love the ethos and the mystery and the horror of H.P. Lovecraft and you love the themes that he brings to the table, you're not going to like this show because it's not fucking there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and admit that I assumed too much from the show, and how they tricked me, because I mentioned that they tricked me earlier, is that the show actually isn't based on H.P. Lovecraft's novels by any means. And I wasn't expecting it to be about like beat for beat what he was writing. It wasn't going to be like, you know, like try to Game of Thrones it where they try to get like straight from the book to the show. Or like, you know, they cut corners a little bit, but they weren't trying to copy from the first place. It was going to be like a rough kind of theme-based show based on H.P. Lovecraft stuff. So I kind of knew that. I was like, it's going to be different characters. It's about being in America during Jim Crow. Like, I was like, all right, so it's going to be different, but they're going to kind of have the same themes in there. No, wrong. What it was about, which I didn't know about this because I guess I should have looked it up. So like that's bad on me. But what novel they actually base the show off of has nothing to do with H.P. Lovecraft. And now you're probably thinking like, well, what? Like, it's called Lovecraft Country. What the fuck? You know what I mean? And I thought the same thing too. It's actually based on a novel called Lovecraft Country. So it's the exact same name. But it's written by Matt Ruff, which is, I don't know that writer, and this novel, it's like a cult classic. Like, not a lot of people have read it, not a lot of people have known about it, and I didn't know about it either. You know, I know H.P. Lovecraft, I don't know about Matt Ruff. I don't think anybody does, unless you like are a very, very specific person. Lovecraft Country is basically a fan fiction of H.P. Lovecraft's novels. That's it. It's a guy who took a completely different theme, and they took, they basically took stuff from H.P. Lovecraft, like what the monsters look like and how it's sci-fi, right? Without really understanding the themes of everything, and then just pancaking them together. I didn't know that, and guess what? It didn't really work for me. But we're just gonna go ahead and just jump into it. I can't stand it anymore. Let's go beat for beat of this show, the first 3 episodes, and why I didn't like it. Warning, spoiler alert, because I'm going to go ahead and go beat for beat in this show, so if you don't want to get spoiled, you should either back out now, or if you just think, well, I already thought the show was going to be sucky anyways, and I don't like H.P. Lovecraft in the first place, then go ahead, welcome, I guess. So let's go ahead and just get started right into it. So the show starts off, and it looks almost to be a World War I setting. It's cool because it has this black and white tint to everything. There's people fighting in the trenches. It's really cool looking. And it has this old-timey music playing, and it has that kind of Twilight Zone sort of feel to it. So as the planes go overhead, you see fire that hits down, and it has a spark of color in this black and white, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. So he decides to go up over this hill, and there's this monologue playing, and it's really cool sounding. And as he comes up over this hill, there's... I can't even explain it. There's the machines on the left from, looks like War of the Worlds, there's a baby flying Cthulhu flying in the sky. Okay, and then there's these alien flying saucers, like that very old-timey 1950s, almost like Isaac Asimov sort of style alien spaceship shooting down at people. I'm already thinking, like, this is not H.P. Lovecraft at all. And the reason it's not H.P. Lovecraft is not because there's aliens in it or there isn't monsters. H.P. Lovecraft's horror has to do with the unknown. And what I mean by unknown is not, I don't know what the fuck's going on, because that seems to be the theme in this show, is that if you just throw shit on the screen and you have no clue what is happening and what is going on, that's supposed to be like a mystery, just like H.P. Lovecraft did. Nah, it's not anything like that. What H.P. Lovecraft does, and what his themes are, is cosmic horror. What cosmic horror is that there's things out there that we cannot perceive that is so big and so mighty that if they ever came in contact with us and they actually focused on us, because, imagine like us driving a car. We don't go ahead and stop by to say hello to the small ants on the side of the road while we're driving through, like, let's say Texas or something like that. No, we don't do that, because we're like, we're more sophisticated beings than the ants are, and we don't give a shit about what they're doing, And that's kind of the whole deal with cosmic horror. It's that the universe is so large and so wide that if a bigger being, a more advanced thing came into our existence and actually decided to put its focus on us, there'd be nothing we could do about it, and we'd be instantly deleted. And that's that's where a lot of his horror comes from, is just the vast scope of things. But another part of his horror is the unknown, in the sense where you can't perceive what the monster is. For example, in most of Lovecraft's stories, the monster is actually not able to be put into words. You can't describe the monster because the monster is so warped and so different than anything we've ever seen before that you can't actually explain it through normal means, if that makes any sense. The only monster that he puts into great detail is the Cthulhu monster. And that is why it is all over the front cover of his books. That's why you hear about it the most. That's why they use it in video games and other sort of medias and stuff like that. They use that character because it's the only one that you can actually visualize. Everything else is just a mystery when he explains it. There's a lot of monsters that, like, for example, there's one that's invisible in one of his stories. You can't actually see it. Also, too, a lot of the monsters that he shows, or he ends up showing in his novels, they only show up near the end. You only get a glimpse of them. So a lot of it has to do with you just kind of psychologically being afraid, and it has nothing to do with, like, just throwing shit on the screen to scare you. That's why this scene annoys me so much, because A, it's like an acid trip, but B, it is just solely... It is just, like, contradicting everything that H.P. Lovecraft is about. While I'm already explaining, I'll just go ahead and tell you another theme from H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft likes to go into madness. Someone ends up losing their mind and not really being able to comprehend reality. But yeah, so the scene, for example, it just doesn't make any sense with H.P. Lovecraft, because there's just all sorts of weird shit going on. There's these robots just out in the middle of nowhere, just in everyone's face. They show this, like, it looks like a Spartan in the background kicking a dude. Well, I don't know what that's about. It has nothing to do with H.P. Lovecraft. This woman falling down from the sky from the spaceship, that's not H.P. Lovecraft either. This character that looks kind of like Cthulhu. It's like a baby Cthulhu. That's the only thing that kind of represents H.P. Lovecraft, kind of. But nope. And then this whole scene is just a big acid trip. This guy ends up killing this monster with a baseball bat and gets up like Mr. Badass, like some sort of superhero or something.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
He wakes up, he's obviously on a bus, and it was all a dream, which is great. It's a dream sequence. Everybody loves those in shows and movies and everything else. And what he just showed there really has nothing to do with the grand scheme of the story at all. So there you go. A scene that doesn't matter. There's a lot of those in this, actually, a matter of fact. So we end up meeting some of the family members, which is great and good and all that good shit. So we're gonna go ahead and just skip past the part that he meets his family and everything. That it's just a good, like, just a feel-good moment. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It's his family. You're gonna see them later in the show. Not a big deal. So they make a point in this moment in this scene to go ahead and just kind of shit talk H.P. Lovecraft, because I mean he wrote his shit, was it in the 1940s? What was the oldest shit that he wrote? Let me check real quick. He wrote this shit back in the 1920s. What the It's just weird, you know what I mean? They're going to go ahead and take something that old and then put it up to a modern lens, then scrutinize it while using his IP. You know, actually, they're using a IP from a guy who used his IP. So it's like, I don't know, man. That just seems a little bit hypocritical to me. Well, look how racist this guy is, but we're going to take all his work and we're going to go ahead and work with it. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that, you know, you got to separate the art from the artist, which I guess fair enough, but I don't know. That seems a little strange to me. It just seems a little weird. Because I have a lot to cover. It's 3 freaking episodes. I'm just going to go ahead and skip to the stuff that's important, that actually makes a difference in each episode. So the gist is that our main character's father, I'm not going to even remember their names. There's no point. They're all flat characters. But let's just go ahead and proceed. He basically sets off with his uncle and his childhood friend, this hot chick, to go off and find the father. And they meet some resistance on the way. So this next scene is where you can really see where the writing's moving, and it's not good. They stop at a diner in the middle of nowhere because you have to rest while you're driving really, really far distances. So they stop at a diner. Yay, cool. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. While they're sitting at this diner, this kid, the kid he's running the diner at the moment, just looks at them as if they're absolute freaking aliens, like he's never seen a black person before. And that could be the case. Maybe in this town, there's just, you'll see. The way they act in this town, there'd just be no black people in sight. There's just no way that there would be no living souls in sight if you had a tint, or if you had a slight tan, you wouldn't go in this area. Because it's like, just almost comically evil. Now, Pete, there were areas like that during that time, but the way almost every white person acts in this show. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't any racism, but just let me just say, the way that the white people act in this show is so comically evil and so comically horrific, and it's almost like the white people in the show are like just evil zombie entities. Because if you see any black person in sight, it's like you'll just instantly... A truck with like 3 hillbillies and a shotgun will just spawn out of nowhere to gun them down, like instantly. Like it's like that almost the entire show that I've watched, the 3 episodes. It's like white person, and all of a sudden they're like, and they just like go freaking out, get a gun, boom, boom, boom. They just shoot on demand with like just, oh my god, it's. There were probably places that were like just like they were just that bad. But the way the show portrays it is that every fucking place they go, there's just psychopaths. Most people, generally speaking, might not like somebody, might be super prejudiced and racist, but they're not, like, willing to kill that person. You know what I mean? They don't enjoy the sight of blood. They don't like violence. Most people are kind of like, I'm not going to get my hands dirty just because I hate somebody, right? They'll say stuff behind their back. They'll say stuff to their face. Most people aren't just going to fucking start murdering people as soon as they see them. And literally every white person in the show just fucking snaps and just starts attacking and running down the street. You know what it reminds me of? I don't know if you ever watched The Other Guys, where, what's his name? Will Ferrell and, God, what's that guy from that movie Shooter? I forget what his name is. Anyways, where they're at that weird couple's house, and then they drive like 20 miles down the road, and they're still running after him.
Nobody leaves our house.
Go! Yeah! God! Go! Nowhere! Holy shit! This is 20 miles. Go!
You get back here!
That's what it feels like in this show. It's just actually cartoonish. It's hard to, people are going to try to justify it. They're like, well, there's racist people. If you watch it, you're going to be like, that's fucking cartoonish. It's actually really, really bad. And I'm completely fine with explaining that there's racist things and stuff like that in the show. That's fine, but it's like really over the top in this one. So anyways, let me go ahead and get to the writing. So as as this goes on, they go to the diner and they order food. I told you that the kid was like, oh, there's black people here. I've never seen one before. And he backs off. He calls one of his buddies. It's like, oh, yeah, there's 3 of them in here. You need to go get them. And before like anybody really knows that that's going on, our main character has some sort of revelation that just kind of like, he's like, I feel like I'm in danger. He uses his like 6th sense, spider senses, right? And how he knows that he's in danger is that the building that he's in is painted white. And you're probably thinking like, how does that work, right? I don't know. You have to explain it to me because I have no fucking clue. But basically, he ends up explaining. He asks his uncle. He goes, "Now, go ahead and explain to me why the White House is white." And then his uncle explains that it's because of the War of 1812. The British soldiers put the executive branch to torch. So when they burnt the place, it left like a black soot everywhere, and they repainted the walls white to get rid of the black soot. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of white buildings and stuff like that, or white paint on walls and shit. So I don't know. I don't know how like he gets from like 1 + 1 = 2 here, but basically if there's white on the walls, or I don't know, man. He's like, there must have been some sort of danger here. But I don't know. They don't really justify it. They don't really explain why he thinks that. It's just because the paint. It's just the paint on the walls. I don't know. But then he goes on and he rips up the bottom like tile from the floor with his foot, which is kind of weird how he can just kick up a tile with his foot. And there's soot on the ground. And then as soon as he realizes that, he has to run. And I was trying to figure out. I was like, well, what does that have to do with the place? It's because people burnt the place down already from some sort of like racial violence, but it's owned by a white guy. So did he burn his own store down, or did someone else burn the store down? You know, it's like were people so racist outside that when they saw someone black in the booth, they threw like Molotovs and burnt the place down just to kill the black people, even though the guy's like, dude, that's my business. I don't know. I don't understand where the idea comes from and how that's good writing in any sense. So as they're running away from these hillbillies, like it's gonna be like that the entire 3 episodes I'm talking about, just crazy ass white people that just instantly gun people on command. It's just, oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyways, as they're going down and they're running from these people, this random car kind of just jumps in the way, and it basically force fields or like telepathically breaks this dude's car, the bad people's car that's running after him. And I'm already kind of sitting there like, that's interesting. I mean, it wasn't really that impressive. It's just CGI, and I was like, all right, so there's magic in the show. That's great. But it was really obvious, and it was really in your face. So I was kind of like, oh, that's not very Lovecraftian at all. Very in your face, very, right there. That's cool. But anyways, we'll move on from that because that wasn't that interesting. So as they're driving, nobody knows how to use a fucking map. There's a specific road they need to get on, but it just doesn't exist. And they end up meeting this police officer. This guy's over the top as well, just like the other white people in the show. I'm trying to recall out of for at least the first 3 episodes if there's a single okay white person in the show, but there isn't. They're just all fucking insane, just crazy monster people. But as we go on, anyway, so the police officer's like, if I see you guys out in my woods pissing on the trees like animals, I have the sworn duty to go, basically hang you guys for just being here. Okay. And then basically the gist of what happens is that it's a sundown area, right? And what that means is that once it hits sundown, basically it's just a free-for-all. It's like, what is that movie? Basically, The Purge starts at nightfall, and anybody who has dark skin color, you better just either be inside or just be out of the area, or you just get instantly executed on sight. So yeah, the Purge starts at night. Nightfall supposedly starts at 7, but it really doesn't. But the guy says so. The police says so, and he goes, it starts at 7, so I'm gonna execute you guys right here once it happens. And he goes, well, what time is it now? So they have 7 minutes to get out of the area before sundown. Problem is this cop is shadowing them. He's like right behind them the whole time. So if they speed, he will, pull them over for a ticket, and then once the nightfall goes down, he can kill them. So once the purge happens, he has basically free reign to kill them. And so they're kind of stuck in a sticky situation, nonetheless. So before sundown even happens, this cop, as I said, was shadowing them, but he's like, nah, I can't just do this, which is already fucking evil, right? He's like, no, these black folks just can't fucking get away. I have to murder them on sight, which is already evil enough. You're shadowing them, you're making sure, A, they can't get out on time because they can't speed, and 2, once that happens, he's gonna fucking kill them, right? Like a psychopath. He's not gonna just do that. This is obviously, you have to hunt black people down on sight. You gotta do everything you can to actually be able to kill somebody. Because that's what you want to do always. You're always on the urge of just wanting to strangle and kill the shit out of somebody. That's how I think, throughout the day too, like a normal person. And so he decides to check them from behind with his car. He just starts just slamming them with their car like it's fucking Twisted Metal. You know what I mean? And so that's interesting. Or once they're right about to get across state lines, they see that there is a checkpoint there with cops already there waiting for them. So either the cop called them in the first place, or the cops before and the people of that other 10 that they were running away from was just waiting there for them. I'm not really sure. They don't really go into detail with that, but basically they get caught and they get thrown out in the woods, about to get executed on just as soon as they see somebody, they're going to execute them. Oh, you're outside during dark. You're going to be executed now. And that as they're taking them outside and they're about to execute them, that's what black person I must kill on sight. Random vampires come out of nowhere. They don't look like vampires too. They're supposed to be monsters from H.P. Lovecraft. I've read like every story, like I've already told you, and there's no monsters like this in H.P. Lovecraft. They look like Hell Knights from Doom. They look like Hell Knights. They look like Hell Knights, but they have multiple eyeballs on their face. That's about it. And they end up having to run after a couple people die, which I actually do enjoy the gore in this show. The gore looks pretty nice. It's like really juicy and visceral, and it's just, I like the gore. Everybody runs away into this cabin in the woods, which I think they're trying to refer to the Evil Dead. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so they go into this cabin in the woods, and they have to kind of stop this monster. The only person out in the woods at the moment is the uncle, and he's just kind of sitting there dazed and confused because he just saw this guy get completely ass blasted by a Hell Knight from Doom, and nobody knows what the fuck's going on right now. Everyone's fucking confused. But for goddamn sure, those damn white folks, you gotta watch out for them black folks. You know what I mean? You can't fuck it. You gotta point that gun at that black folk. You know what I mean? They can't be trusted. I mean, there's vampires outside, but vampire Hell Knight monsters outside. But no. The black folks are the one that you need to be afraid of, because that's how racism works. You know what I mean? When you're in danger from a fucking vampire, it's still the black folks' fault. You know what I mean? You gotta watch out for them, obviously. I'm being sarcastic, you guys. Obviously, it's not like that. Most people, I feel like, in this circumstance would be like, I think we need to work together to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, at least a little bit. Like, it's kind of one of those things, like, even if you hate somebody, if there's a worse enemy attacking you and the other person's willing to team up to beat this worst enemy, it's kind of like the whole idea where it's like, in World War II, we decided to team up with Stalin to defeat Hitler. You know what I mean? It's like we chose the lesser of two evils to fight a worse evil. It's kind of, it seems like the same way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not how it works. But just given the circumstances, I feel like they could have treated everyone just a little bit more different, just a little differently. You know what I mean? Those monsters outside, we might need to work together here. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very, it doesn't seem very realistic in my mind. All right, and okay, here's another really shitty piece of dialogue that makes no fucking sense. So, as they're being attacked by these monsters, they don't look like vampires, but basically what happens is they happen to be vampires, and the only way, I don't understand where the logic comes in, but the uncle ends up quoting some sort of Dracula novel quote, and he's like, because we've been driving out in these woods all day and we haven't seen them, right? They must be night creatures that get hurt by light. They are vampires. And I was like, how did you get that out of that fucking situation? I just don't understand where that logic came in. I don't understand how you're like, these creatures come out at night, thus they're vampires. You know what else comes out at night? Possums. You know what else? Wolves. You know what else? Bears. You know what else? Like, literally any night creature, and guess what? Light doesn't hurt them. Like, I don't, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So it's like, they see monsters, they're like, they get hurt by light. And that's how they put two and two together. They go, okay, well, they only come out at night, so they're vampires.
Wake me up! Wake me up inside! I can't wake up! Wake me up inside!
You know what's also really interesting is the uncle, because he got back to the cabin and he was like way behind everybody else. He's like, the only reason I got back here is because I might have had this flashlight in my hand and they don't like light. Vampires they don't like the sun. Okay, it's not like a fucking flashlight that hurts them. That's not the thing that kills vampires. That's generally speaking. Dracula never died by a fucking flashlight, or a candlelight, or anything like that, or a car light. It was the sun that ended up kills Dracula or kills vampires. So the fact that he's like, I had a flashlight in my hand, and then it come towards the flashlight, they're vampires, and then it come out during the daytime, so they're vampires. And it just, none of that fucking shit makes sense. And they just, I don't know. I don't know. I can't justify it. It just pisses me off so much. During this whole scene and stuff like that, they actually had a really cool idea of kind of, they find a cabin in the woods, they can go out in the woods, and it will be almost like the Evil Dead, which I don't know if you guys know this, but the Evil Dead took a lot of stuff from H.P. Lovecraft. Like, for example, the Book of the Dead that has the flesh that's covered over the book as the hardback or whatever is called the Necronomicon. And the Necronomicon is a book from H.P. Lovecraft that spawns these creatures. So it's actually kind of cool that they could relate the cabin in the woods scenario like the Evil Dead, which kind of refers to H.P. Lovecraft, kind of, in like a roundabout way. But they never really like do anything cool with the cabin. Basically, after this guy turns into a fucking vampire in front of their eyes and eats the other cop alive, and then they run off, and nothing else happens in the cabin. Like, they had so much potential in this cabin to kind of make it like a throwback sort of deal, but they just kind of go, nope, you're in the cabin for 2 seconds. The white supremacist is like, you woman, you need to go ahead and get the keys or get the car over here and go fuck yourself, and then they both die, and then they run out anyways. So there's really no need for the cabin. It's just basically just to watch these two people die and then just move on from the situation. So, well, they're fighting these monsters off using the headlights of the car, and they used a bunch of flares that I guess they already had in the car, and a flashlight, and the monsters are kind of just sitting there roaring at them because they're afraid of light, and they're the pussiest fucking vampires on the planet. A whistle blows, and as if they're attack dogs, and they just leave the situation. The monsters do. And then after that, you see a sunrise, and they're walking on the road covered in blood in a super racist area that if any white person sees them, they'll just be hunted down on sight. So, like, right now, they're in a pretty fucking shit situation. And they finally get to Artem, and that's where they're supposed to be. So, yay, we're in Artem now. Earlier in the episode, one of the main character's buddies, said that his dad left with a really rich white dude that had like a really nice car and a really nice suit, and he's not a cop because he obviously looked too fancy to be a cop, and he must have been a lawyer or something. So as they see this really fucking fancy house, almost like it could be like a plantation house or something like that, there's this really nice car outside that kind of was the same thing that his friend was talking about. He's like, oh, it basically looks like the exact same car my friend was talking about. So they're like, oh, this must be the house now. So that's basically the end of episode 1. They meet these really rich people in this big mansion in Artem, and that's kind of supposedly where the dad must be. So boom, bada bing, we have to move on to episode 2. Hey guys, this is Zach from the future. This is after I just got done editing, and I was going to do all 3 episodes in one, but it's going to be like an hour and a half video, and I don't think people want to watch an hour and a half video, so I might just split them apart and kind of produce them day by day. So I'm going to go ahead and produce this one today, and then the next one, and the next one the next day. Because I wanted to get them all out real quick, but it's just going to be too long of a video, so I'm just going to split them apart. But, yeah. Hey, you made it to the end. That means you must enjoy my content, so go ahead and love tap that subscribe button for me. And if you don't like my content, subscribe anyways. My videos are proven to make your schlong longer. Follow me on Parler if you want additional content updates, or if you want to interact with me personally. And join my BitChute channel for additional content. Thanks, you guys. See ya.